Hi guys, it's Wathoni and Yancy, and you're welcome to yet another episode of the Baby Talk Show. With me here, I have such a beautiful lady, and I need to say she has been styling me for the season 3 of Baby Talk Show, and she's been doing an amazing job, huh? So now, guys, drum rolls for Olamide Oolar.
Yes.
Say it, pronounce it.
Oolar.
Okay, the R should be pronounced.
Yes.
Oolar.
Yes!
Okay, now, usually, we have 4 segments, but we're going to start with the What's Your Take On segment.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing DNA. So, what's your take on DNA, Oolar?
Well, DNA. Okay, so I don't know why people take it so seriously. Like, it's just to know. Like, I feel like DNA has more than just, who is the father, who is the mother of this child, it's way more than that. It goes back to your lineage, if we want to use it correctly. It's just that I think we're quite limited in this country. So they use it to track people's heritage. They use it to track a lot of things. And I mean, even if it's just to know who the father is, it's not really that serious. It's just because what's the word? The doubts when it comes to when they're asking for the DNA. I think that's what makes it look so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
There's no trust.
except that. So it now depends on why you're asking for the DNA. If it's just, okay, so I just need a DNA. Well, there's no other way to put it. It's actually mistrust, but I don't know. It's not as bad as it.
Before you continue. You're married. You get pregnant, you deliver, and it tells you we need to do a DNA. How are you going to feel, like, out of the blues?
First of all, I think my first instinct would be, why? Like, you don't trust me, that kind of thing. But something I've learned over time, or I made myself sit down and learn, is asking before jumping. So even when I see some things that are glaring, I try to ask, just in case I'm not assuming, because I have a very imaginative head. I can imagine a tornado out of a small issue. Do you understand? So I try to ask, like, oh, do you mean this? Is this the reason why? So if you're just asking because for some reason maybe you had a little doubt and you just want to be sure, then that's fine. I mean, I'll give it to you. It's just that now I have it in my head that you don't even trust me. And that is one other problem we'd have to sort out or find a way out of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it just depends on how it is being communicated at the end of the day. Communication is actually a big deal to me. And so it depends on how it's being communicated at the end of the day. But yeah.
So there's an episode I had with Tricky, and we're
Yes,
like, should DNA be normalized? So do you think it should be normalized?
Yes, it should, because we have wild people out there. I'm not even going to lie. Like, we have, when I hear some stories, I'm like, what's the problem?
I actually agree, because if it's normalized, there's no issue of trust. You already know it's a normal thing to do DNA.
Yeah. And it will avoid long-term heartbreaks, because I mean, a guy has fathered a child for till university, and then you find out that, oh, sorry, it wasn't. I mean, it shouldn't even be at the point of, maybe, I know that the topic probably gets open when maybe the child has to do some blood transfusion or something bad. The state, it's emergency. I shouldn't be finding out there and there that I can't give my child, as a father, I can't give my child blood because it's not my child.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it has already been taken, I mean, you will not, if you want to go ahead and father the child, I mean, you know that, okay, this child doesn't belong to me, but I love my wife, I want to stick with, and help, I don't know, whatever it is, then at least it is discovered early. If you want out of the game, then I mean, nobody's heartbroken. Everybody's, or the heartbreak is early. It's not as painful when you put money invested and all those things.
But did you see the story, I think on Twitter, it trended on Twitter for a bit. This guy bought designer stuff for the lady in her labor ward or something. Oh, there were bags, and there was a lot. He did a lot. Like, he spent money on buying designer bags, spent money on doing a lot of things, and then finds out that it's not his child. And then it was a whole, should he take the things back? There was a whole Twitter, he's supposed to take the things back. Why would she lie? Then I think she was the one that even said it herself. He's not the father. So it's like, if she didn't admit that he wasn't responsible, would have been like, okay, you keep doing all that. And then I think she felt guilty and she confessed, it's not your child.
Oh wow.
So in that situation, I'm like, let's assume she went with the flow, she didn't feel guilty, her conscience didn't prick her, she waited till maybe the child was 18 and the guy says, okay, why not a DNA? And he says that, I don't know if he would feel like he invested his life, because with guys, they always feel like, I spend money on you. Some guys are like that. I bought you designer bags, designer this and that, true. But in this case, she actually saw that.
Let's stop it right here.
Let's not. But in that situation, I'm like, what if there was a time he had to do a DNA and see that this is not his child?
Well, I'll be like bicycle. Because it's I don't know, it's earlier, the better in that kind of scenario. So I think she could have said it when she was pregnant, because I'm sure it would have been lavishing her while she was pregnant. So maybe it was a build up to that point and she's like, nah. Or there's something about holding your child in your arms that just makes you feel vulnerable and you're like,
there's something tricky pointed out still on that DNA episode where he was like, those that even stay in rural areas also need it, because most times they are living together, and then there's one neighboring.
There's one baba that is selling, one girl that is selling.
So like friends, neighbors sleeping with each other, and then all the kids are not yours, and it's like,
I feel they should just legalize it. So like in the hospital, wherever you are, you're giving birth to as they do the blood group, the genotype, whatever. The DNA should be by the side, so it becomes.
But do you know about the prices? Do you think it's expensive?
No, I don't think so. The last I checked, it wasn't so expensive to get.
Last I checked, I had 150.
When was it?
Yeah, but I'm not too sure about but I know there's 500.
What are you getting for 500?
DNA, to know this.
Just the DNA, not the heritage.
So, but I don't know if they're trying to look at reducing it, but
okay, because I feel like it should even be free of charge. I mean, if they legalize it, I guess.
And then I want to believe that there are cases where it's not even the lady's fault. She was probably raped and still assumed, okay, that didn't lead to pregnancy. I still believe my husband is the So in that case,
that as well.
Yeah. Anyways, this DNA topic, we can go on and on and on and on. But if your guy asks you for DNA, as you said, you like to, there's one statement you made.
The communication now.
Yeah, and then you like to sit down and there's a way you put it.
Oh, I like to just know the reason why.
Exactly, before jumping to conclusions. Yes. So yeah, out there, your bobo asks you for DNA. Don't take it serious. But I know it's campaign, trust issues and all of that. So that's it on this segment. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So on this segment we have games. So now we have A to Z. She's going to pick one and then tell us.
I have to close my eyes to pick, or I just pick.
Look away. How do they say Moya look away?
Moya look away. Straight up.
If I pick two. Don't look, just pick two first. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see, what do you have?
I and B. Okay.
What parenting term comes to your mind when you think of I? Interesting. B.
Okay, so inducing.
Okay.
and then
Difficult
breastfeeding,
things. Okay. Can you think of any other one with I?
immunization,
Mm-hmm. B. Baby birth.
baby.
Okay. Okay, so now tell us like a sentence about B. Which one do you pick? Breastfeeding.
No, I think birth is better.
Okay. Okay, birth.
Beautiful. Okay, so birth. Well, I know that there are like 1,001 ways. Okay, not up to 1,000. 1,001 ways to give birth to your child. You could decide to have the home delivery.
Mm-hmm.
You could decide to, there's the CS, there's the water. I've always hoped that one
You
of
do
my
the water
children,
one.
yeah, I feel like it's a beautiful way of
I
giving.
agree.
Yeah, I mean you're literally sitting on the pool, and then your husband is right behind you and helping you. And then the fact that the child coming out from the liquid goes into liquid, and it's just, I just feel it's tush and posh. And
But I think it can be messy though.
how messy will it get? I mean, the blood that is coming out is entering the water.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And then all the water turns red.
but then again,
But anyway.
you have your menstruation every.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and it's just for that period, and you're out. So yeah, so birth is just glamorous. I mean, except the pain.
Yeah.
The pain aspect. Let's take that out of it, and then every other thing is just perfect. I guess seeing the child coming out. I mean, the miracle of just holding your child in your hands at that particular point. It's like after all the storm of pains that you're getting, and then that particular moment is like cold water just.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, this came out of me. And then the period, the weeks after that, you just keep staring. I don't know if that happened to you. Like,
It did.
you just randomly be staring like, what? Really? It happened? And yeah, so it's just a beautiful experience generally. And that's
One question. You've talked home birth, the water one, CS.
Yeah.
Then of course the normal.
The normal delivery.
What do you even call it normal?
Well,
Okay.
it's the
Well, so like now, are you so adventurous to try 4 kids and do all the 4?
No. I think 2. I would want 1, but I mean, I'm the only child, and I know how lonely that was growing up. So yeah, 2, so that the other child can have companion.
Okay.
But I beg Nigeria.
But you
Nigeria's
still try the
economy is
water
bad.
one though.
Yes.
They don't do it in Nigeria though.
Oof.
Not so common.
If you know,
It's actually not so
manage
common.
the one that we can do.
Okay, then the I.
Okay, so immunization.
Okay.
So maybe it's me, but I feel like before a child gets immunization, they need to check. They probably need, or maybe good hospitals do that, I don't know. But they need to check the health record, the complete general health record of that child. Because I feel like they just believe you have a newborn. There's like a booklet they give you at birth, and they're like, okay, so you have to check all these immunizations you have to do. And then they fail to probably educate mothers, and I don't know, maybe the doctors are not even well educated in that aspect, that there are some things that your child probably was born with, and you have to look into that before giving him a particular kind of immunization, because it could trigger something else that could just build up into something else.
Yeah.
And because this child is an infant, you can't talk, you can't do anything but cry. You are there wondering, is it because I'm not giving the child breast milk?
Yeah.
Is it because the child has pooed? Is it? And you don't know that it's possible that it might just be this immunization could have been delayed.
Yeah.
At least so that this child can go through whatever he's going through first and then get that.
When it comes to immunization, first thing that comes to my mind is because I took my child to public health center, so I was in private. So of course there's the whole drama of like 50 people particular day. I think our day was Tuesday.
Yeah.
So there's the whole drama of like 50 people, and then if you come early, like then my dad would drop our card like 5 a.m. in the morning. Every date that we have, like the appointment or the immunization he has to take, Tuesday 5 a.m. he has dropped it. So once I get there, He takes his immunization for that particular period, and then we are off. And then the drama when it comes to that immunization, because there are different kids taking different. You go there, you're taking BCG. That's the first one. Another one is taking for 5 years, and the only till today, what's stuck in my head is the way those people shout. Make sure you bring your child till they are 5. After they are 5, you've cleaned your hands though as a mother when it comes to immunization. Yes. They won't say things like it was a whole drama thing. If I'm to act a movie with that whole health center situation, then there are situations where they'll say, they were actually insulting a lady. She had CS, gave birth, and then she was still breastfeeding the child and she was pregnant. So it was almost like a high risk pregnancy for her. So they are now saying, because of her, they now said, "Una no dey listen. We say pregnancy is like a sickness. If you're pregnant this year and pregnant next," like I learned so much from that health center, especially for immunization. They'll tell you if you're pregnant this year and come pregnant next year, you don't like yourself. Don't you know it's a disease? So basically, and about that lady, I mean, you're coming to bring your child for immunization, and you're still, probably your child is 6 months and you're now pregnant again. I mean,
I feel like some people actually they don't want that spacing, that long-term spacing. I know of one influencer, I don't know her name, but her child was not even up to a year. I don't even think the child was up to like 8 months, and she already was carrying the other. So it's possible that maybe when the child was like 4 months, or maybe after the 6 weeks that they used to give you to heal.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I think it's a personal decision, but still, if it's harming you, harming your child, harming the people around you, what's the point? What's the whole, let me have all my kids first and focus on my career? You can have all your kids, and then there's one that is maybe not, you have to, maybe one doesn't have one leg.
Special attention,
exactly. So I don't buy the whole, let me finish having my kids idea. Although I wish if it's possible by now I'd have finished having my kids, but still. So basically about immunization, when I hear immunization, I know, give your child immunization till they are 5 and clean your hands. That one I can never forget. Like it always, and then there is a whole list of the BCG, polio, like every single thing.
Yes, there is actually. But I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it's all for the health of the child, right? So if there's an initial sickness that maybe the child had, maybe, for instance, my child was born with laryngomalacia, that's soft larynx. So when he's breathing, you can hear him breathe. Okay, so obviously there's a particular immunization he's not supposed to take at that moment, probably because it would probably drop your immunization and then build it back up. So in the bit of it dropping, things could get infected if you're not aware of what you're supposed to, and then it's really sensitive. That's because it's like your airway, and you get, so it's really sensitive. It could just trigger a whole lot of drama and everything. So I feel like before, it's not just be about, just give your child the immunization, pack all the immunization right now before it's 5. I feel like you have to study, I mean, does this child have this particular anything
or
that
the
would
allergy
or the allergy, exactly. So if that is sorted out, then go ahead, by all means, please pack the child, my dear.
It's funny how this is a game segment and we've now gone so educational and stuff. But anyway, that's it on this segment. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. On this segment, the Say It All segment, I'll ask a question and all she needs to do is say a yes or a no. There's an additional one in this segment. So we'll have on a scale of 1 to 10 situation in this segment. So let me go. Did you poop while in labor?
Yes.
Why did you laugh?
Because it was the most embarrassing thing.
I actually don't blame you, because for me, okay, I didn't poop, but for me, I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know. How do I want to push? Like,
You don't know which
push.
one.
I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, how do I do it? And the midwife goes, do it like you're going to the toilet. So I assumed, that's why I asked the question. I assume anytime I hear someone pooped while there, I assume they also told them, do it like you're going to the toilet. So that's what I did, and that's what helped.
Urinate like the whole, but I know that they always, like in the hospital for me, they had to drain my bladder with this, like, I don't know whether it's a straw but it looked like a straw. So they had to literally drain my bladder first so that I don't urinate. But then it paused, and I felt so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, it's not embarrassing though. I like that you're sincere about it. How will I explain this one now? Did you have fatty, like, was it hard for you to pollute? Like, after you've given birth now, and then it was like you had a lot of gas. So it was like it was hard for you to either pollute or belch. Did you have that situation?
No, it wasn't like it was difficult for me. So I had like a secondary tear.
Okay.
While I was giving birth. So they had to like sew me up back and all that. And so literally I was scared to do anything mentally. Even to poo, I was like, no, I'm not good. I didn't poo for like
I asked because it was hard. I felt like I had so much gas. I tried to belch to
I had gas at some point,
pollute, but
I was very scared because I know what they told me, that if the thread should open, that is even more
you can't
painful.
even laugh.
So literally I had to sit down like this, and then if I want to cough I would stiffen myself and so that it doesn't jigget. But that was it. Wasn't anything.
Did you breastfeed exclusively for 6 months?
Well, no.
Okay. Did you go out a lot while heavily pregnant and showing?
Yes, I did, because I had friends that were like, your face world. Like, because I had a lot of guilt trip at first, the early stage. I just wanted to stay in my corner. I mean, they did not send me to get pregnant out of wedlock, so let me just not annoy anybody and stay in my room. But I have crazy friends that are like, they move out, and really, so it's
give it to your friends.
Like when it's a whole segment. That's simple. Like,
but when you go out, are there other people that look at you like, why is this baby's heavily pregnant? Why is she out here?
Okay, so I think I started showing when I was about 6 months, and I think by the 7th month, I went to the mall, and then there was this lady that kept looking at me, and it was so obvious she was disgusted. She was like, this girl looks really young, like that kind of look, like why'd you get yourself all knocked up at this? And then I had my friend with me and she literally turned to me and she's like, I'm about to fight, but I'm not going to fight because I know you wouldn't want me to, so you know what, let's walk into that ring shop, I'll get you a ring, you would wear the ring and let us save ourselves. And miraculously I wore the ring, and it was like the looks that I've been enduring for the past week reduced. So
you had a ring saga.
I had.
That's what I call it. Cause okay, let me not say anything now. But I had a ring saga too. Did you get many sisters while pregnant?
Well, from behind.
Then
when they get to the side and they see that she's pregnant, like, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. So yeah.
Did your labor take over 24 hours a whole day?
Well, I was induced, so I had the pain gradually, not gradually, because when it's faster than normal pregnancy. So overnight I had to do it overnight, and then by morning it was crazy. So in the labor room I think I spent maybe like 30 minutes or 45 max. Max.
Did your nose get bigger and your feet swollen while pregnant?
Feet swollen, no.
Were you doing the leg on top of the table thing?
Nope. So I read something somewhere. Throughout my pregnancy, I was a research freak. Like, before I take paracetamol, I Google it. Am I supposed to? Before I take cold water.
What's that website again? There's a particular website.
There was Baby Center. There was Baby Center there. Yeah, but I read somewhere that people think it is natural. It's you're pregnant, so your legs should be fat. I mean, but then it's actually stored up fluid or salt, too much salt, or so you can actually
so what's the trick?
So basically, I reduced my salt intake, right? And then
what kind of foods?
It's just basically the salt. There are some that I can't obviously help, but when I'm putting like cooking rice or when
You
I'm
don't
doing
add
that, I
salt?
don't. Yeah, or minimal, very minimal
Okay.
salt and everything. And then I took lots of fruits. So and then if I'm taking water, I try like once I take water, I try to walk around. I don't just sit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Did you lose a lot of hair after delivery?
I know I will naturally. So there was no. There was.
Okay. Did you add weight while pregnant?
Well, yeah, because now that I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, am I fat? But as a then, I felt I was so trained and
Did you eat a lot?
portable. No,
Okay.
like they had to beg me to eat.
Did you have weird, crazy cravings while pregnant?
No,
Okay,
I
I was
didn't.
waiting for another weird one.
like nah, I didn't.
Did you promise yourself you will not have another child?
No,
Okay.
Never.
Okay. Now, did you know the sex gender of your baby before delivery?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared, confused were you when you realized you were pregnant?
Scale of 1 to 10.
10 being you were very, very, very scared.
15.
Ah.
Hey, bring it back.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10.
I literally ran away. Like, nah.
Okay, so was there a situation where it was hard to tell mom, see, it was hard to tell
It was
family, basically,
hard to tell anybody.
even
But
your
then,
friends?
yeah, but I found out with my friend, the same one that.
Did you
almost
find out like a week, 2 weeks, or?
I was 7 weeks gone when I found
Oh.
out. And yeah, so. And then the whole situation around it was just crazy. And the same, your story. So when you said your story, I had all my friends calling in and they're like, yo. And then, because obviously I've spoken to them, my sister's friend is on Big Brother, so they're like, wait, did you tell Tony your story? Like, and I'm like, no.
So we are twins in this story thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to share it? It's even hard to explain. That's the thing.
Because there's no, I don't even know how the father of the child even, to be honest, I still used to just look at, like when we're talking, I'm just like, yo, you must trust me a lot. Because when I first found out, I was like, how am I supposed to explain it? But obviously I realized, I mean, now you know what you do and what you not do. Do you get? So if I tell you, the only thing that will come to your mind is you probably have stepped to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he literally was there during the process of me breaking my hymen, literally there, and so he knew that this was some sort of so yeah.
The whole personally, this my own situation made me realize someone asked for DNA. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't trust you.
Yeah.
It means they need to be sure this is what it is.
Yes.
So I was open to a lot of things. I see things as an advantage and not it's always they're all out for you.
I think that's the same
like
reason
that.
why I don't like when he asked for a DNA. I was like, okay, cool. Man,
You should do it.
I mean, we should. I mean, we didn't end up doing it because the child came out and had the exact birthmark he has at his back and all those and it looked like his father. It never looked like him. It picked his father's face. So it was like, okay, so really there's no
point.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you go out while we were pregnant and it was showing?
You're very active. Yeah, but then I mean, on
like
a
I need
scale
to know, was it 10? Like
no,
going out very
no.
often.
It was probably like about a 6.
Okay.
It was a 6. I would just go to the gym with my friends.
It was a 0.5 for me. The only time that 0.5 is me strolling for my antenatal, and of course, how many times have you been for antenatal?
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, because there was a lot of shakara don't end situations.
No,
so
I had to go to work, so obviously I had to keep going to work with my stomach there. But then I'm known for being a fashionable person, so regardless of what they knocked me off, it doesn't matter. I will still I will still look glam. I will still look,
Now that I'm thinking, in my defense, it was I was like 8 months gone when it was showing. So
you're almost
so anyway, that's it on the Say It All segment. I've learnt a lot.
Yeah.
And I like your friends. I should steal them for.
Please,
Because even married people that are pregnant and because I was talking with someone one of the episodes. I'm like, you have a ring, and you're still being looked like it's weird that you're out and you're pregnant. It's like, because I'm pregnant, I should be home taking care of the pregnancy.
Help.
Like,
because I have to exercise, right? I have to walk around. I have to exercise my feet. I have to be on my, so that you get like. But then, if I'm sitting there, I'll just be getting fat. And
guys, we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. This is now the last segment. Topic of the day, losing Dylan. So now, this is a very sensitive topic. That's why I had to put it as the last segment.
yeah.
And okay, how has life been, first of all?
Well, great. Better than I thought it would be, to be honest. So, actually, way better than I thought it would be, because I literally thought like it was just going to be the end of whatever I need to do in life. Like, I'm just literally going to be going with the days until the Lord decides that, okay, just come back. You've suffered enough and stuff like that. But then I know that aside me literally just trusting that God will just help me through it, I had the best support system. I had the best friends that would literally feel like they mourn with you, and then they take you out of that feeling, that mourning phase. They help you through it. And then every year they literally help me celebrate like my growth after that. And it's really been wonderful. I mean, there's some days that I would still have, wishes and, oh, I know you'll be like this at this time, probably I'll be running around for this at this time, and then I break down. But then I always just knew that at the end of the day, I mean, all things work together for those that love God. So yeah.
I was going to ask, at what age did he pass away?
He was 2 months and 2 weeks. Yeah, and it was right after immunization. And that's the reason why I keep saying it was a week after he took an immunization that he probably should have just skipped, at least for that period. So he literally dropped his immunization and his immunity rather, and while picking, I think he got a cold, right? And because he's quite sensitive, it literally got infected, I think. And yeah, and then just went out of proportion. And he was fine today. It was just that the only problem I had was he wasn't eating as much as he usually would. And then I was worried because, I mean, it's out of the norm and I want norm.
I was going to ask something about the 2 months, yeah?
Yeah.
I was there for 2 months and a half.
2 months, yeah, and a half, yeah.
So let's now talk about that 2 months and a half as if it's 20 years.
Yeah.
So like, there was 2 months and a half. That's, okay, let's not go into details, but you were breastfeeding, you were changing his napkin, you were doing like everything.
Everything.
And first off, once you realize you're a mother, yeah?
Yes.
Whether or not, yes. I mean, doggets, I keep saying it, in Orange is the New Black. Very had 3 kids that she aborted in the series.
Yeah.
And she still counts herself as a mother.
Yes.
Now the thing is, there's a whole issue about, oh, you've miscarried, you can't even carry to term. And then they're like, okay, you can't be a mother if you can carry a child. Now there are cases where someone actually carries, there are people that actually carry children to term and they lose the child.
Yeah.
And then you still see people say,
Oh, they're not
Or
mothers.
yes. And I think that's the most insensitive thing.
Yes, it
And
is.
that's why I want you to look at the 2 months and a half, like 20 years. So you're 20 years a mom. Before, in like, let's say 5, 10 years to come, you'd have like 2 more kids. So we're extending that 20 years.
Yes, yes. Actually, there's this inside joke my mom and I have, where my mom says, "Well, once a grandmother, always a grandmother. You can't take it back from me. They've called me grandmother already, so I'm already a grandmother." So people still, if they ask, "Are you a grandmother?" she still says, "Oh yes, I'm a grand. My daughter has had a child, like so, obviously." And besides that, I mean, you also have illegal adoption of
Yeah.
my friends and all that. So they're like all the same in one for her and for me. So I have two beautiful nieces, nephews, sorry, and they literally, I feel like they're my children. Like it's so, because the firstborn was born like few months or a year basically after I lost Dylan, yeah. And so me posting pictures of him, people will be like, "Why are you still posting like pictures of your son?" And I'm like, "It's not my son, but it's my son," that kind of thing. So you just automatically take up the role as a mother, regardless of you don't even have to have given birth. Because for instance, if you didn't have a son, you're a mother to baby talk show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your baby. So I mean, you don't have to. I mean, the birth of anything that you take care of and you love makes you a mother.
But how was your healing process like? Personally, I think I would use that 20 years thing as a
Ah,
consoling
the
situation.
healing took, maybe because naturally I'm a happy person. I mean, as at then I hadn't. I think that period was my first touch of depression. It was my first contact with depression and how it takes up one's soul. So it was like that minute I felt like, yo, can I just exchange my life for this child? Like, is you know what? I'm done with life. Like, I'm okay. You can now take me and just transfer. Do you get? And it's crazy what motherhood can actually make you say. And at that point, I'm just okay. So I'm waiting to like be lifeless and see my spirit, see my child wake up, that kind of thing. And it didn't happen. And then the next day, I'm waking up hoping that, oh, it was a bad dream, obviously. And then I'm seeing people coming to console me, and I'm just like, yo, God, how far?
But you're with him when it happened.
Oh, yeah, he died in my arms. And luckily for me, it was either me or my mom. And my mom was like, okay, you know what, because I've been up and down the whole day, I need to go home and rest and come back. And I'm like, no, it's my child. Yeah, I mean, it's not to sleep here, I'll sleep here. Like, it's fine. So she left, and then I was the only one there. And so that's when it happened. And I'm like, this minute we were just talking about how he's going to be a footballer, right? Because they couldn't find his veins anywhere. He had to find the veins in his leg. So the doctor was jokingly saying, this guy's going to be a footballer. I mean, he's going to be a Man U. I'm like, no, his father is Arsenal. His mother is Arsenal. Where does he want to reach Man U? We're still joking about that. And then, by the way, I'm not a Arsenal, please. Well, yeah, and then now he's gone. So it was terrible. And every day for the next 6 months was like, why am I here? Basically. And I literally detested anybody I saw smiling. It was that bad. Like, I'm like, why are you happy? What is there to be happy about life? So I felt like it was my own emotions. So it was at that point when I started realizing that, yo, you are taking not only your joy, but the joy of every other person around you. Because obviously, nobody will want to tell me good news when my reaction is literally blank, like, okay, cool. Why are you excited? And so I had to try, with the help of my friends, obviously, so they literally had to like do anything that they think would make me happy, or yeah. So
Were you working at the time?
I was, but obviously my office gave me some time off work, and then I had to resume because I was going crazy at home. I mean, seeing the same place where he was, and all that. I needed to go out. And then I resumed, I think, a month earlier than I was supposed to. And my manager was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Please just allow me." So sometimes at work, I just break down, I start to cry, and then everybody. So I didn't even like their attention because, it was just it was making it more real. So I had to start trying to just build up my wall to just calm myself. When I get home, I'll cry all the cry I need to cry. The next day I woke up, I'm just moving like yeah, so it was a lit. Some days I wake up and I'm in a good mood, I'm happy, and then something happens and I'm back to square one. It was just a roller coaster.
What did you go out a lot? Did you think it helped? When you started going to work, did you go out a lot?
No, well,
So it was just work then back home.
it was work and then back home, except maybe a few occasions where my mom and my friend just agree that just take her out to where there's music, where there's dancing, and then I go there and I sleep in the club. Also, I'm just like I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to be happy. So I feel like healing also comes with the will. So I felt like the minute I decided that okay, I have to, if not for anything else, I have to be happy for his memory so that I won't only dwell on the sad parts. I mean, the 2 months and 2 weeks was blessed. Like it was amazing. Like it literally felt like he knew he was not going to be here for so long, and he tried to rush everything, like mumble words. I mean, 2 months and 2 weeks, not supposed to be saying, but then you could pick out so many things. He's literally fighting to walk faster. I'm like, yo, calm down. Where are you going? Do you understand? All those kind. And then little moments like when I'm crying or when I'm exhausted, and then I'm carrying him, and then he just grazes my cheek and smiles. I'm like, do you even know what's happening? And that moment, you get all those little things, or how we will let my mom rock him to sleep. Like, let me just allow you be okay. Rock me to, and then once my mom's door closes, he wakes up and is like, "Mommy time." That kind of. So I literally have to play with him, watch a movie, and then he sleeps off. That kind of thing. And he was the quiet baby that sleeps through the night, which I think most mothers don't brag about.
Yes, actually.
And then I had to literally be the one to wake him up midway so that he can breastfeed and go back to sleep.
You know, there was a term you used about him breathing heavy.
Yeah, it was laryngomalacia. That's what I don't know if there is a medical, but that was what I was told it was because I think they tested him for TT or something. I can't remember. It had a T in it, but it wasn't that because that was supposed to be like gone after like 5 days, but it lasted on for a while. So yeah.
Do you know, I didn't even think that immunization can affect, like there are some drugs that affect kids that are allergic to certain things.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's just hard to even know what they're allergic to at that age.
yes, it is. But I mean, you should know the side effects for whatever vaccine you're giving out, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the obvious issues that the child with things like this malaria. I mean, it was detected right from birth. You get so you know that anything that I'm going to give this child obviously should not bring down his immunity when it comes to infections or cold and stuff like that. So I mean, the doctors are in a better place to know what it is. I mean, you as a mother, especially first-time mothers, like you're just being introduced to a new life. There's so many things, so many things you don't know, and you probably will not know until maybe when your child is baby, getting married, and you still learn some things. So yeah.
That's it on this very touching story. One thing I've learned is allergies, immunization, drugs. There's so much. Like we need to take childcare very serious. Have a personal pediatrician if possible. She has shared her story. It's very touching, and I must commend her for her. You're so brave, cause you said it, and there are times you just look for a way to put in humor with it, like the whole football thing. I was trying not to hold myself. So, like, anyways, I must commend you. But don't worry, God knows, God sees,
Yes.
and He will surprise you. That's it on today's episode on Baby Talk Show. Until next time, remember, you don't have to be a perfect parent. Just be a real one.